Hey there, good evening, and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. This is a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back here at the Battle of the Bands, Day 8, March the 8th, Battle number 8. Two pretty solid bands here. I don't think it was that close, but it was an interesting battle. I liked both. I noticed with Ben is he likes to put similar type groups together, so something has to be similar about them to put them together. I seen the similarity here very quickly is that they're both really heavy and they both have excellent guitar players. Okay, so the first band we're going to do is Winterhawk Revival, and for some of you who follow my Ben's album challenge will remember that I did this album. I'm not sure how long ago it was. I think it was in the fall. Maybe in the fall. Anyways, album was released December of 1981. It's a solid album. Sorry. So it's got seven tracks. 7 tracks on this one, 8 tracks on the other one. Oh, the other one, by the way, is called Highway Chile or Highway Chill. Not sure how you want to say it. I say Chile because that's spelled like chili. So Highway Chile Storybook Hero is the name of the album. This one is Winterhawk Revival. The opening song, the intro, scorching instrumental with some great guitar riffs and solos on this song. Just fantastic tune, I think, opening up. The next tune out, Sanctuary. Pretty typical kind of vocals for this group. The song is catchy as hell and is very heavy and methodic, and probably my favorite track, arguably my favorite track on the album. But the whole album basically is very heavy for the most part. Couple of spots where it's a little bit bluesy. I want to say bluesy. It's got that bluesy kind of feel to it, but it's not. It's too fast to be a bluesy song, and it's not heavy enough blues in it, but it definitely has some elements in it. This is a very hard rock, kind of bordering on heavy metal album, but more hard rock, I think. Lots of similar sounds here to bands like, I hear a lot of Triumph here with this band. I did the first time people questioned me about it, but I think that there's a lot of Triumph sound here. It's the guitar player plays in a similar style and is very good. You've got some excellent kind of high-end vocals as well, and the music plays very much into that Triumph sound. So if you're a Triumph fan, you should like this band. I'm sure that there's a couple of Triumph fans on here who will like this band. I like this band. This is an album on my list. I've been looking for it. I haven't found it yet, but definitely an album I'd like to have. Some really good stuff on it. So I look at it and I didn't realize I gave 4 of the tracks a 7. Sorry, 3 of the tracks a 7 and 1 of the tracks an 8. So lots of really catchy kind of heavy guitar riffing on this album. Lots of heavy. It's just a very heavy album, I find, and has its moments where it's very fast paced, but for the most part it's very kind of methodical. Not too fast, but not too slow, and the production on this is pretty good. The overall sound is fairly clear. The last track is my favorite, Free to Live. Starts out with a kind of heavy, long guitar solo. Really long, like over a minute and a half, and it's a very methodical song, but then it speeds up and the guitar solo just dominates, like he's just playing like lead after lead on this song. But it's usually I don't like that, but this guy fits it in very well with the music. He's just really good guitar player. I think that's the strongest part of this band is the guitars. The drums are good too. Drums are pretty good. The whole rhythm section is pretty strong here. There's only the 3 guys, so it's like has that other element like Triumph. There's 3 guys. The bass player, though, is the singer in this group as opposed to the guitar player it is in Triumph. And he does do this last track, the Free to Live, isn't in those high range vocals. It's more like right in where it's supposed to be, like more, actually that it's Ace in the Hole, that's the song where he has this kind of mainstream sounding vocals, more reminiscent of what you might get from Gil Moore than you would from Rick Emmett. Anyways, just a fantastic album, really strong. Every time I listen to it, I like it more. I give it high ratings. Definitely one of the better albums we've done so far in this album battle. And they're a U.S. band, of course, too. I forgot to mention that. They toured quite extensively when they were first out and built a fair, strong following. Never really quite made it to the heights that some mainstream bands, but I think for them, in their defense, is they didn't get very good support and very good management. And if you don't get that, and you're in the wrong spot at the wrong time, or you're not getting the gigs you should get, or you're not getting on the tours with the bands you should be on, that hurts. Just ask Rush. They toured with everybody and everything, to try to get themselves in there, and these guys didn't get those kind of breaks. So unfortunately, they didn't really make it to that top echelon of well-known bands. But certainly they're a strong band. I like them a lot. Okay, so the other band, which is called Highway Chile, Storybook Hero. This is a pretty solid album too. It's got 8 tracks on it. They're more hair metalish than they have that hair metal feel to them. And I looked at them and they definitely had that look as well. But they're better than most hair metal bands. The guitar player is very good. He's solid and riffing. The production and the sound on this album is really good. Better than most of the albums I've been listening to so far in this battle. So they got some pretty strong, and they're heavier than a lot of hard rock bands. They're bordering metal, and a lot of their tracks are definitely heavy metal. At least a heavy metal for that time period. And even though they are in that boathouse with the hair metal bands, I think they're a stronger instrumental band than a lot of those bands anyways. They also have some pretty interesting lyrics too. They're not your typical crappy lyric hair metal band. These guys are pretty decent. So there are. Sorry, I'm having trouble again today. So we have like the two tracks I like the most. I'll talk about the most. Fever, which is the opening track, very heavy guitar riff, and a fairly long solo part. And this particular track kind of reminds me of the band Rat. If you're familiar with Rat, they do that song Round and Round. This is similar to that, but much heavier, like a heavier version of that song with better guitar playing and better drums overall. And the other track I liked a lot was Handing You Over. Sorry, getting all tangled, tied up here. This is a real heavy track with some very fast-paced guitars and riffing on it. Really solid track. There's nothing the hair metal bands do that meet expectations here. Most of those hair metal bands are pretty methodic and pretty slow-paced. These guys, they do have their slow-paced songs, but they have a lot of really fast-paced songs too. Bordering on that, kind of starting to get into that real heavy riffing metal that you get with some of these what do you call them, speed metal bands and stuff. They're not speed metal, they're not even close to it, but you can see that this is a progression where they might have been going. I don't know where they went after this album, but this is a pretty strong album overall. I enjoyed it. For a hair metal band, I did enjoy it quite a bit. I generally don't like hair metal bands, or if you want glam metal bands, or I don't know what else you want to call them. most of them are methodical, and they have a formula they follow where it's heavy guitars and sex and love lyrics with a guitar solo halfway to 3/4 of the way through, and then a vocalist who screeches. That's generally the hair metal kind of genre feel for me, and so I'm not really into that. But these guys were they have some of that element. One of the songs I think I wrote down, where is it now? Oh yeah, the Jesse James. There's a song called Jesse James on this album. Very Motley Crue like. A lot of this Motley Crue sound on this song, but again, much better guitar soloing, much heavier song, and yeah, pretty good song. I didn't give anything a failing mark; everything passed. So strong album. The last song had a bit of an acoustic guitar opening, and then methodically got heavier and heavier, and then kind of stayed in a certain realm that I might call power metal, or not power metal, like a power pop, or maybe more like a power ballad. That might be more of a better term to describe the song. I don't think it's about typical power ballad type things, but definitely is in that range of that sound. So that may be their one track on the album that it might be a little on the weak side, but it's not a bad song, not at all. So there you have it, the two bands tonight, Highway Chile and their album Storybook Hero, released in 1983, and they're a Dutch band. I forgot to mention that. The other band, Winterhawk, album Revival, released in December of 81, and they're a US band, very Triumph-like, where the other band's a little bit more like the hair metal stuff. So there you go. Great. It was fun to do this. It didn't bother me at all. I didn't feel any need to rush either of them. But as I think the Highway Chile's pretty strong album, but I just don't think they don't quite measure up to Winterhawk. I think Winterhawk is, to me, a serious hard rock band that has to be taken serious and listened to as if they were a frontline band, whereas Highway Chile is kind of a supporting act in my way. So I would say it was a fairly easy victory for Winterhawk, and they'll go on to the next round. And Highway Chile will have to try again next time, maybe with something different, or maybe my opinion about them will change a little more. Maybe I'll like that type of music a little more. Maybe. Anyways, I hope you like this video. So if you do, please like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. This will come out in the morning tomorrow on March the 8th at 8 a.m. and we'll be back on the following day with another Battle of the Bands. Have a good night. Take care.